Hey everyone, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Common Tongue Podcast, where today we are talking to a really good friend of mine. His name is Robert Davis, and he is the tournament manager for Aquatik Esports. So we talked to him about what his job is. We talked to him about his thoughts on the esports scene, just different things that are happening in terms of marketing, in terms of where the money's going, and we have a good time. We have a good time just talking about video games, basically, and how people play them professionally. So hopefully you'll enjoy this episode. I personally really enjoy talking to him. I feel like he has some really interesting points. So thank you for tuning in. Let's just jump into the episode, shall we? Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Common Tongue Podcast, where, we like to do quality stuff. So we're here again, re-recording an episode with a I call him a friend. He's a friend, right?
I say friend. Friend
right?
feels right. I feel like we're friends. I'm glad we entered that stage so that I'm not the weird one for thinking it. But if you were if you're my acquaintance, my business partner, my occasional collaborator, that would have hurt just a little bit.
Yeah, right. It's it won't be awkward if we say I love you now, right? It's not going to be awkward if we say
it's
that.
not going to be as long as we make full eye contact while we do it, I have no issue with it.
Yeah.
As long as it's
awesome.
full dead to the soul eye contact, so I mean it when I say it.
Okay, let's finally get into intros. So, please, sir, for everybody who's still listening, please introduce yourself and state what you do for the record.
Hello, my name is Robert Davis. Online, I go by commiewolverine. And I am the tournament manager / tournament organizer for Aquatik Esports, as well as a freelance Valorant caster and mediocre Twitch streamer.
That last one's false.
I'm a media you were in my chat today, and it was
man.
It was rough. I mean, the games were bad. Everyone, I don't know. I'm also it's like the thing that we were talking about. If it makes the cut, where it's I'm a B tier poet. Where I'm a D tier streamer, which in reality means I'm probably a C+ tier streamer. But people are oh man, I really loved his hot take on classical music and refined arts. I'm gonna check out his Valorant stream.
Heck yeah, man.
I wanna set the bar low, so maybe I can people oh, he's not that bad.
Yeah, because that Valorant and classical music overlaps so much today.
Hand in hand. And now people listening to this intro of who I am, they're why does he get to have an opinion on that? And you're right, I don't get to have it.
So you work for Aquatik Esports.
That is true. I'm official full-time salary as of 1 month ago.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Dope. They need to update that on Discord then, because they still have you as an intern on the Discord.
Do they really?
Yeah.
This is toxic. This community, this workplace is toxic.
Come on, Aquatik. Give him his due.
As long as the paychecks keep coming in, I don't really care.
Right, though?
They could really say whatever they want about me in the Discord, and I guarantee you an ex-girlfriend of mine has said way worse about me. So it's I'll take my heat from the Discord server. That's fine.
Okay, so you're the tournament manager. What does that entail? Give me the details of your job, basically. So for everybody out there, what does a tournament manager do for an esports company?
So I can't speak to other here's the thing about esports is it's such a young industry that titles almost mean absolutely nothing. So I do a little bit of everything.
Honestly, Aquatik's only a year old, right?
Yeah, we're a little bit more than a year old. I've been involved with Aquatik for just about my first official event was a Memorial Day tournament that I casted last year. So I'm 2 weeks away from my 1 year anniversary of doing stuff for Aquatik. But basically what I do is either I come up with an event and then basically organize it, get the right people in the right place. So whether it's finding casters, okay, these people are casters, I'll do an interview with casters, have them practice cast, listen to it, and I'm is this enjoyable? Do they know what they're talking about? Finding players, whether that's putting advertisements in our Discord, Battlefy, Instagram advertisement, that kind of thing. Getting admins, like selecting game for a tournament or whatever.
Right.
And kind of running that. And then like when that tournaments are getting production people lined up, scheduling, communication, like these are the rules, whether I'm writing the rule set or using an existing rule set,
Right.
like just kind of like all of the background stuff that no one thinks about, but I think about because that's how my brain works. And then as like the tournament goes on, just like being present is really like once like the event actually kicks off, like my job doesn't end per se, but like it's in the hands of the people who are running it. Like I can't help like once it's going, it's like, oh, this is going wrong. Okay, here's my backup plan for this.
Right.
But like that's pretty much the extent of it. And then I have my hands in the marketing. So like, should we promote this Reddit? Should we promote this Twitter? Should we promote this Instagram? Should we promote this Facebook?
Mhm.
LOL. No, we're never going to promote it on Facebook. Sorry, all of my marketing classes. Like, but
No,
like,
okay.
where
We're
that
gonna get
promotion
into
is.
this too.
Oh, okay. But like, it just kind of like wrap it up, like making sure that those promotions are in the right place, look good, aren't cringe. And that's pretty much the extent of like the tournament manager portion of it. And then as far as like casting goes, that's pretty well, I guess it's not self-explanatory because every time I say caster, like it's such an accepted term in like my sphere
Within
of the internet.
community, yeah.
Like when I say like, oh, I cast, they're like, oh, I know exactly what you mean. When I say that to like when I was like telling my parents about it or like telling people outside of the internet community as a whole, I am an announcer. So I do more of the analytical side of Valorant, which is a tactical 5v5 first-person shooter, very similar to if Counter-Strike and Overwatch had a baby. If you don't know what those are, you're not going to understand my job, and that's okay. So,
That's actually true, though.
Like I don't know how to like analogy my way out of this one. But I
You're like an internet radio broadcaster
essentially, yeah. So like
for
if
video games.
or like a professional sports broadcast, you have the guy who's like da 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 hit the home run. I'm like, yeah, he got a 1-0 fastball right down the middle. He got a barrel of his bat. And like I explain more in depth why the play-by-play setup, why that happened in that way, at least to my view. And then people on the internet tell me I'm wrong and I'm stupid, and I internalize it, and it prevents me from sleeping at night. That's pretty much that job.
You know, so okay, interesting little fact though. So almost about a year ago, we met because I genuinely think this is how I joined Aquatik. I think this is how it started.
It might be.
I know you guys were putting out ads for casters, and or at least I think you were, because I genuinely don't remember.
It was me who was doing it. I don't know if we like advertised it. I think you might have just been in the Discord server, but I made an announcement of like, hey, if you want to be a caster for anything.
I think that's what it was.
Because like I was the one caster and I was doing solo cast, which is awful. And
yeah, it's not fun.
And they were like, hey, can you help? Or like I got brought on as an intern, and they're like, cool, you do the community mashups now. And they're like, yeah, you can commentate any of the ones that you want. I was like, well, I know nothing about any other game, so I should probably like get other people involved. So I was like, hey, if you want to be a caster, like let me know. And like I made like a type form, or I had to LV make a
also,
type form.
Wait, hold on that note, / twitch.tv/LV, best channel on Twitch.
Best channel on Twitch. Far better than my channel, like without a doubt. Twitch.tv/LV. Cannot emphasize enough. That's really the only thing that we're going to recover from our first podcast, because I feel like we're going to go on like a totally different tangent. But at the same time, like I feel like we're sticking to our roots, just promoting the heck out of twitch.tv/LV.
Always LV streams. But so I remember, because that was probably one of the most harrowing experiences of my life, because I really wanted to be that, because I love, so I currently I've done it twice now.
2 times.
I've done it twice where I've casted I've casted. Okay,
I say
cool,
casted.
great.
Have casted. Yeah, no, it's casted. That's the past tense.
Yeah. So I did 2 tournaments with Ninja Falcon 2, who is my co-caster. We did 2 of the community mashups for Super Smash Brothers, and he's that way. He's the I know everything about the characters and the frames and the iframes and everything like that. I'm the kind of person that's like, oh snap, I just use his forward smash. That's going to be hard recovery for Ganondorf, but Ganondorf has his magnet hands, which is probably going to help him recover and come back from a heavy hit like that.
Yeah. So it's like I don't know. That's like such an interesting dynamic because I work with Explo.
Yeah.
And I love Explo to death. But he like basically like the way that like you should think about it. If you're a caster and listening to this, the way that you should think about the play-by-play is he's telling the story and you're explaining the narrative. If you're like the color guy, that's how the broadcast should be. It shouldn't be just like for like first person shooters. It shouldn't be like kill feed reading and then analyze it like, yeah, he got the kill and he got the kill. Cause like the viewer isn't stupid. Like if they're watching an esports broadcast,
they could watch. Yeah.
They know. They're like, yeah, no, the Viper definitely headshot 3 people. But like what they may not notice is it was set up by the fact that he threw his orb on top of generator, dropped the orb when he heard the spike plant go down, and they were just dumbfounded because they didn't expect that to happen. And like that gives you a greater appreciation. And I cannot do it for Super Smash Brothers, but I'm sure you could provide another hypothetical scenario in Smash Brothers where it's like, yeah, no, I saw him throw him 3/4 of the way across the entire arena. But the fact that the combo leading up to it baited him into that, like I don't know that, but now I appreciate like how hard that was. You know what I mean?
The example that always comes to my mind for some reason is you do so you throw somebody, but Ganondorf has this down B where it's a sword that goes forwards and backwards. So it's like you can combo it certain ways to where if you time it just right and they're low enough on their damage percentage, you can hit them with that, make them come back, and then while they're recovering, make an attempt to grab and then do more damage that way.
Yeah, no, I would see, and I would not understand that. I would see like the damage go up and be like, something good is happening.
Right.
But, like a good color guy and a good play-by-play is like bringing the hype of like, oh my god, he's doing this, and then the color guy is like, no, with this frame and this frame, blah 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 at this specific moment, and I'm like, he did that,
right?
He did that, huh?
Yeah, it's honestly casting is so much fun.
It's such a good time, dude.
It's so much fun. But so you're in a unique position though, because you cast a lot of tournaments. You've been casting Valorant tournaments for almost
a year.
Yeah. So, but you also work in the management side of it, where you're the one setting up these tournaments.
I do, yes.
So
I have a weird existence in the field.
You're in limbo because you're in both parts.
One of them gives me insurance, the other one doesn't. Guess which one?
That's a good way to think about it. But so where you're at, being involved in the tournaments in both sides, what is the one takeaway that you see a lot of people missing from the tournament aspect of esports?
Do you mind expounding it? Like what do you mean missing? Like underappreciated, or like I guess
yes,
where do you
know? Because would you say your job is largely logistical before the tournament starts?
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much, yeah.
What is the one thing from that side of it, because you're on the casting side, like where the audience is front facing? What is the one thing that people often miss that goes into a tournament?
How hard it is to coordinate gamers.
Really?
It's like that's the thing. It's like through all of my experience, it's so hard to be like I could make a sign up sheet for a community mashup and be like, hey, we're going to send you an email with the confirmation. It's going to say the day and the time of the event and when you should report. And then they're going to confirm that. Then they're going to join a channel in the Discord server where I personally am going to tag everyone who's involved in that tournament and say, hey, you need to show up at this time. Otherwise, we will replace you because people are like, this broadcast needs to happen at its specified time.
Right, like it's a live event. This needs to happen.
There are real employees here on a Saturday who are running this event.
Mm-hmm.
Like there are other humans involved. Please show up at this time. And then we get to that time, you're like, I didn't know it was today. Didn't know. Don't know what to I'm not gonna be there. And like and like here's the thing is like most of the people like in that connotation that I'm dealing with are like 14, 15, 16 years old, like freaking kids. But I mean, just like getting people to show up on time, like that kind of stuff, like that's the hard part because it's like it's out of your control.
Right.
Like I have no power to go to like wherever these people are playing from and be like, hey, wake up, you signed up for a tournament. It's just like, man, I hope they see this at so and so.
And it's interesting too because that's the difference between like professional esports tournaments and just like community tournaments done by a company, where one is for fun, and there's also like a cash prize attached to it, especially with Aquatics. But on the professional side of it, there are these massive payouts for these teams.
But still, the thing's the same. Like it hasn't mattered. It hasn't mattered what level I've organized. Like getting all of the people. Like I've casted for the Pittsburgh Knights. Or they might just be the Knights now. I don't know if they still use like the geographical tag, but they're an org run by Wiz Khalifa, who's like a primary like a primary investor. And like they're like we're dealing with like pretty high, like low tier 1, high tier 2 orgs, and like these matches never start on time. Like no matter, and like I'm watching, like I'm a caster, so I have no involvement in getting these players, but like my heart goes out to Jasper, who's like running this event by himself. I'm like, bro, I know how you feel. I know exactly how, why isn't this game started? Like brother, like trust me, I know you have no hand in this, but you have to like run around and be like, click, 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 please join lobby. Click, 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 please get this person into lobby. So I guess like that's one of like the more underappreciated things where it's like you'll see people be like, oh, like man, that graphic would be cool. It's like, yeah, but you have to understand, like I don't have necessarily a fat budget for this tournament, so like while that would be cool, like I need to make sure the tournament itself runs smoothly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that it even runs, period.
Yeah.
That's wild. And I know, I'm trying to remember this because I know we talked about this last time. I know we talked about the future of esports, right?
Oh yeah, we did.
So I'm of the mindset that it's going to stay strictly online, right?
Probably,
like there's going to be like Twitch and YouTube and Facebook are going to be the main platforms. I know Aquatik is working on Control right now, which is some really cool stuff.
And I've gotten pre-beta access into that.
Ooh,
yeah. So I've seen the inner workings and kind of know more than the average bear about what's going on with it, and it's super cool. It's really, really cool. It's gonna be an uphill battle just because of like the market share that YouTube and Twitch have on it. Facebook, I mean, if you're sure, Facebook gaming I'm sure exists, and if there are any Facebook gaming streamers or avid Facebook gaming viewers listening to this podcast, I apologize for not actually considering you like a titan of the esports industry.
Stone Mountain 64,
good for him.
He's Facebook gaming.
He's getting paid for sure. That's good for him.
100%.
Poggers and Z-Laner I think is Facebook gaming as well.
I think so, but I do know that Stone Mountain's actually with Pipeline now. He's one of their ambassadors and one of their trainers. Yeah.
Oh, no, good for good for no. And it's not. I'm sure there are good streamers absolutely everywhere, but when you talk about market share and talk about like the actual like amount of viewership, and where like esports is viable, Facebook is just not really in the conversation just because of who is the average age of the user. Like that's not who you're if you're an esports tournament organizer, that's not the target market you're going for when you're advertising your events.
That's fair. But so I'm of the mindset where everything's going to stay on the internet, but the investment is going to go up because I mean, I was watching League of Legends on the Riot page, and it was just, I think they're like 40-minute tournaments,
games,
games,
thereabouts, yeah.
And that's pretty good considering when you talk about conventional sports viewership, when you talk about like soccer and golf and football and all this stuff. I think esports is specifically made for like the technical generation because they always want, in my head, content's getting shorter and shorter, right?
Yes.
And so the sports venue is following that trend as well, where normally you're watching 2.5, 3 hour games, and now you're bumping it down to 40-minute games. You can have so many more games per day, and you're getting so much more content because of it. That's why I think esports is never going to go super big in terms of like moving towards conventional TV and pay-per-view and on-demand kind of viewership, because it's too short for that, in my opinion.
Well, like an individual game of League of Legends is like 40 minutes, but like an actual like match of League of Legends, so like a BO3 or a BO5, you're still talking in that like hour and a half, 2.5. I mean, in like the grand finals of almost all of these tournaments are BO5s, and like that's a whole afternoon on like a Sunday, like where you watch like I'm a big Counter-Strike fan. That's what I watch more than like Counter-Strike and Valorant. There's just more Counter-Strike on, especially when I'm watching, which is during like the day when I'm waiting for people to respond to DMs and all of that. Like EU CS is on, and so I like I can watch that all day, but it's like broadcasting like each match in a BO3. If it goes 3 maps, it's like 2.5, 3 hours,
right?
And
but
like
see,
a little bit longer.
You're kind of answering my point in that, you know, instead of watching one game on a Sunday, you're watching a whole freaking tournament.
Oh yeah, because I'm a nerd. But like, there's like there's like it's a niche industry, but like I don't know. It's gonna say online just because that's where the people who are watching it are, and like the fact that it's a computer game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It would make no sense to go to like network TV, but also like that's like the biggest flaw in esports is because where the money in traditional, where not the only place, but one of the major sources of revenue in traditional sports are television deals, network rights, broadcasting rights. And that's because like companies like NBC, CBS, Fox, ESPN, like ESPN, which I mean is all Disney Corp, which is also ABC. Fun fact.
Didn't we even talk about that there used to be an ESPN sports channel, esports channel?
They had a like, it wasn't a channel, but it was a section of their, like they covered it. They had reporters and journalists and all of that. But like that's where the money comes from, where they're bidding on the rights for like NFL games, and like that kicks back to franchise, like that kicks back to franchises, owners on down, so on and so forth. So you have your ticket sales, you have your concessions, you have your parking, yada yada yada, merch, what have you. Merch. I don't think that's an esports term. Apparel sales,
paraphernalia.
What have you.
Is that like, an esports say?
I hate that. I don't know.
Can I get my commie Wolverine paraphernalia, please?
That feels like a dirty word.
That's because it usually is. It has a negative connotation with it.
But to finish the point, dang it, those broadcasting rights are huge. Those are billion-dollar deals, and there's just no competition in the esports sector of like who's going to bid on. Like the only other player in the game is YouTube who would bid on it. Like for exclusivity, and that goes to the tournament organizers, and there's no direct kickback to like the orgs unless you're talking about like League of Legends or Overwatch or something like that, where it's like a franchise league. But even then with like those franchise leagues, it's run by the developers, so like the merch has to be approved and it's all pretty uniform. So like the individual sponsors for each teams, like there's not a lot of wiggle room. You can pretty much only do local sponsorships. So like the streams of revenue are so vastly different in where you can find, because like investment should increase. Look at this viewership, look at like the market, yada yada yada. Okay, well, if you're investing, you're not donating money to these like you're not donating to Ninjas in Pajamas, you're not donating to Cloud9, you're not donating to Aquatik. You want a return on investment. So where does that return on investment come from if there's no major source of revenue? And that's why you see like a lot of like content generation. So that it's like it's a marketing expense. You know what I mean? It's not necessary. Like that's where like the sponsorships come from, because it's just a marketing thing. Right. But that's a long drawn out, and I don't know if that. I saw your face light up, and I'm really curious as to where you're headed with this.
Okay, so Funimation. Okay, first off, we're gonna enter nerd territory here.
Here we go.
Are you familiar with Demon Slayer?
The anime?
Yes.
I know the name because I follow Valorant pros on Twitter, and they're all weebs, but I am not familiar with it myself. No, I'm not an animator.
Okay, it's really good. I highly recommend it.
I believe you.
It's fantastic.
Fully believe you. I just can't look at myself in the mirror.
No, that's totally fine. But so here's the point that I'm trying to make with that.
Okay.
So Funimation. Okay, no, let me backtrack. Demon Slayer season 1 is fully available for free on Netflix. They released a movie, so so season 1 ends, right?
Oh, that movie just came out, didn't it?
Yeah, Demon Slayer and the Mugen Train.
Okay.
Right? Here's the thing though, it's only available on Funimation and in theaters.
Is that the people who did it? Is Funimation the studio
I don't
who did
think
it?
Funimation is in charge of it. I'm going to do my common dunk fact check.
Or do they just own the rights to it? Are they big anime?
Funimation is like one of the anime names.
They're like, are they like, this is the most Western, are they like Studio Ghibli type level of like, does that sentence even make sense?
Funimation, I want to say, is the publisher, but there are several producing companies underneath them.
Okay.
Because I vaguely remember Funimation and Aniplex being associated.
God, you're
together.
speaking just such a foreign language to me.
Yeah, I know. Okay, hold on.
Like, I believe you.
So Funimation, they've been broadcasting anime forever, right? Oh, here we go. The Wikipedia page coming in clutch. Funimation Global Group LLC is an American entertainment company that specializes in the dubbing and distribution of Eastern Asian media, most notably Japanese anime. The company was founded, blah 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 blah.
So they do the US dubs of it.
Yeah, so it is popular. It is licensed
dubs.
Popular series such as Dragon Ball, One Piece, Yu Yu Hakusho, My Hero Academia, Attack on Titan, Fairy Tail, Black Clover, all this kind of stuff. So they're the licensing group, right?
Okay,
so
that makes sense. So they basically purchase the license for all of these shows, and like, so they have the broadcasting rights, and then they English dub them and distribute them to people because they own the right. They're essentially like a franchise of. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
So, actually, you know what? While I'm here too, let's go to Netflix real quick because computers are great. Oh, whoops! I haven't logged into Netflix on my computer yet. That's an oopsie daisy.
It's a good old fashioned monk ass.
Dude, Twitch emotes are so great.
Bro, I speak in them, and I went out to dinner Monday with like.
I saw that tweet. I saw that tweet.
It was a banger tweet.
Banger
but, like,
tweet.
Straight up, like we're just having a normal conversation, and I was like, dude, poggers. And they looked at me like I had said something like horrible or like fundamentally offensive, and then I didn't hear the end of it, and now I'm like, dude, I spend way too much. Like Twitch emotes are great when you're communicating with people because they express like emotions so accurately.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like hieroglyphs, like modern hieroglyphs of like, I'll see a monk ass and I know exactly. I recognize the sign. I know what they're saying. Like I get that emotion, but saying it like out loud is like, oh God, you don't go outside, do you? And I'm like, yeah, no.
Whoa.
No, I don't. Like, this is weird that I'm seeing real people right now.
Oh, actually, interesting. The English network, it actually runs off of Adult Swim, off Toonami.
Huh.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's pretty on brand.
That's pretty on brand. Yeah. So anyway, though. Yeah, so so Aniplex. Anyway, so Aniplex was also behind Full Metal Alchemist for anybody out there who likes anime.
I recognize that name as well.
So the point is that season 1 of Demon Slayer is free going back. Yeah, finally, we're getting back to the point I was trying to make. Demon Slayer is free for season 1 on Netflix, right?
Yeah.
The movie was behind a paywall for Funimation, so you either had to be subscribed to Funimation or you had to go see it in theaters. That was the only way you could watch it. You couldn't get it on Sony. You couldn't get it on Amazon. The only way to watch it was on Funimation, right? They had exclusive broadcasting rights for that. I kind of think that it's going to be the same for esports, where you have live sports going to streaming services now, like on Hulu or on Amazon. You're basically going to have different streaming services fighting over broadcasting specific exclusive broadcasting rights, kind of like Peacock.
No, absolutely. No, I agree completely. Here's the thing. There's not enough players in the game for those broadcasting rights to really be worth anything.
That are interested or just period?
That are in the game, that have money. Because why would Twitch pay to broadcast something? Like, look at what happened to Overwatch League. They signed an exclusivity right with YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And the Overwatch League, among other reasons, but this is a major one that's cited, is in shambles. Like, no one followed them. They're just staying on Twitch. Like, Twitch has such a monopoly on it. Like, Twitch doesn't have to do anything.
I mean, that's true, though.
Like, they don't, like, if there was one sports channel and then, like, an up-and-coming sports channel, the NFL was like, you have to bid to broadcast. Like, see what happens to your business. Go. Like, if ESPN was the only player in the game and CBS is new, like, go to CBS, see what happens. Okay, all of a sudden, like, there's 10,000 people watching instead of 90,000 people watching. If I'm the NFL, I'm like, oh God, these analytics look horrible. How am I going to sell advertising space to companies? As soon as this deal is over, I'm going back to ESPN. So there's just not enough players in the game to force that competition. You know what I mean? And like, that's the issue. Like, I think certain tournament companies, I think ESL has an exclusivity deal with Twitch. And that's probably good for that tournament organizer. I'm not entirely sure. Again, these are numbers. Like, esports is so young and there's no transparency. Like, ESL is not a public company, so I have no idea what their revenue is, but their prize pools are very nice. So they're probably doing okay. But like that's the thing, is like, that's so hard for like there to be exclusive rights when the rights themselves aren't that valuable. Like, the network has such an upper hand in these negotiations that, like, you can do it, but it's like, even if you do it, like, who cares? Like, it's gonna be pennies on the dollar for what those rights probably are actually worth.
Okay. And because I have no knowledge of this field. That's why I'm asking you this, is because I genuinely feel like there's, just behind the sponsorships, there's so much money in esports already.
You would be surprised. To my knowledge and my personal experience, the deals aren't as sexy as you would think they would be, just because there's no the data for network TV advertising and what people, like, what these big companies are paying for. Like, they're paying for certain metrics, and those metrics don't exist in this current space for esports. So, like, you're not trying to pitch a tournament to, like, someone my age who's enthusiastic, who's like, yeah, no, there are people who are really passionate about this. You're explaining it to, like, Jim Davies, 65-year-old head of marketing for XYZ, who are like, competitive video games, not in my America. And they're not like that. They're not actually, but that's the demographic that you're explaining it to. And it's not a demographic that's, like, endemic to the industry. So not only do you have to explain what you're selling, but you have to explain the industry as a whole. So if you have to, like, I don't care how, if you don't have, like, solid agreed upon analytics that you're talking in, it's very hard to explain the value of an investment or of a market, like, because that's what it is. It's a marketing investment. So it's very hard to explain why this company should be investing their limited marketing budget in this field if there's not numbers for them to go to their CFO or CEO or COO and be like, yeah, this is why I invested here. This is what we're getting back. Here are these numbers. And the CFO looks at it and is like, what does live concurrent viewers mean? Like, that's not a real metric to me.
That's fair. So getting onto this whole marketing aspect, because this is something I think about all the time. I got a minor
major in college.
Yeah, I got a minor in communications, and I dealt a lot. All the classes I took were, like, in PR, were in ethics, in media.
Those are fun classes.
I love those classes so much. I learned so much out of those classes: media law, PR, and human relations in companies, both in and outside of companies. All that kind of stuff was so interesting to me. I love taking those classes. But nowadays, the traditional marketing strategies are widely different from what they were even 20 years ago. Well, even 10 years ago.
So many different tools involved in marketing. You know what I mean? It used to be like you had radio ads, you had print ads, you had television ads, and you had, like, door-to-door, like, cold calls and cold emails.
Yeah.
And now you can go on, like, for as much as I make fun of Facebook, Like you can go on Facebook and you can draw a circle around a certain geographic area, type 3 things that like you want those people to be interested in. And Facebook is like, here are 8,000 people who fit this specific target market.
Right.
Like if you want to pay this amount of money, you'll probably reach this amount of people. Your likely conversion rate based on other ad campaigns is going to be this. Like that's nuts.
Yeah.
That's stupid data.
That's
stupid data.
The craziest thing I ever saw in college in terms of marketing and communications, there was a program that we used. It was used specifically for Boolean searches, right? You could probably tell me what this is more than I could remember what it was. But basically what it did, it took Twitter posts. It took Twitter posts from a certain area, and it was like, okay, cool. If you search for these specific criteria, you can see how many people are tweeting and talking about this. And you can learn where your demographics are for the whole world. And it was wild to me. It blew my mind.
It's crazy. I mean, just there's so many tools out there. So like, and like with the newness of these tools, there's not one singular like industry accepted communication or like statistical interpretation of them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's very hard to determine like your ROI on a certain marketing investment if you're not even like agreeing on like what figures go into the equation.
Also, ROI is return on investment, just for anybody who wasn't aware of that.
I thought about explaining that, but then I wanted to sound really pretentious. Like I had a conscious thought of like I had a conscious thought of like saying like return on investment afterwards, but I wanted to like keep it smooth and people be like, man, this guy really knows his acronyms.
Man, this guy really is on the business.
That and I hate that that's who I am as a person. Like I want to cop on that. Like I want to like be honest with the viewers. Like I made a conscious decision to do that. Like it didn't slip my mind. Like I thought about it and then made that decision. And I would promise you I'm in therapy and working on myself.
So what all this has been boiling down to is this. Bobby down the block, right? Let's say Bobby down the block, he's been wanting to get into esports forever, right? And he's like, oh, I'm going to get into this. I'm 18 years old. I'm legal now. I can work in esports because I'm 18 now. I got to do whatever I want, Mom.
It's not a phase.
It's not a phase, Mom. It was never a phase, Mom. Anyway, the point is.
Anyhow, yeah. Mm-hmm.
What is the best marketing tool for somebody wanting to get into esports and to be noticed, in your opinion? Is it Twitch?
It depends on what they want to get noticed for. If they want to get noticed for like
for signing a big deal with an esports team,
like are you talking in terms of like being a player or like
in terms of being a player?
Your best bet is probably Twitter or TikTok. Gaining clout on one of those social media platforms. Like if you're hitting highlight clips and then just being really involved, like Reddit. There's no one way to go. Like that's the cool thing is it's super accessible. You just have to continue to put yourself in the right situation. So like whether that's like climbing a leaderboard, getting involved, like finding like the right like scrimmage lobbies, like just grinding your way, whether like getting like you'll see on Twitter, like looking for team, like a LFT post or LFG post, or like you're like, hey, let me trial for you. Here are my credentials, and just developing as big of a resume, competing in tier 3, tier 2 events, like getting clips out there. So people are like, oh my God, he did that. Who is that guy? Like he's like super mechanically skilled, and like being active and having a brand that way.
So somebody actually asked me this question, right? I don't remember where it was. I don't remember who it was, but somebody asked me the question is, should I get a TikTok to help my gaming career?
Yeah.
And I said, absolutely, 100%. Hey there, everybody. I want to take a minute to thank today's sponsor, GameAware. Now, if you can't tell from the name, they're a gaming clothing and accessory brand that's specifically focused on the gaming industry. All their products are eco-friendly and are really high quality, and they're also making sure that they're part of a sustainable fashion movement. Their core values are eco-consciousness, collaboration, and innovation. Now, here's where it gets really good. They have some really, really good collections. Their first edition collection is really nice. I personally have their Explorer tee. I love that so much. The graphic design on that is impeccable. They also have their signature range, which has their logo and their name on it. They also have their custom 2021 GamerWear jersey. You can customize it with your gamer tag and with a personal number, and it comes with all the branding of Gamerware. They also have their own multi-link site called gamer.tv. It's gmr.tv. I love it. I personally use it so much. It just looks really, really clean. It looks really good. So if you're interested on upgrading how you look on stream or just on the street, check out Gamerware. And if you'd like to save 10% off of your order at gamerware.com, make sure you put in code TCT10 at checkout to save 10% on your entire purchase. And now, let's just get back to the episode. TikTok is so explosive. It's wild. I'll give you an example. There was this girl who I knew in college, right? I follow her on Facebook. I see what she's up to, right? She has made a full series with like 40 million followers on TikTok. It's wild.
No, the growth on that platform is absolutely like the discoverability, like the FYP page. And I don't have a TikTok. Like
neither do I.
I don't have a TikTok. But like the discoverability features on it are absolutely insane. Like to go viral on TikTok is like the easiest place to go viral of any of the social medias. Just because here's my theory on the reason is that there is no promotion on TikTok. You can't promote a TikTok. So it's entirely user generated. So like actually good content doesn't get pushed to the side because somebody's paying like X dollars or X cents to get their content promoted, which might not be good content, but if the website can make money, so on and so forth. So like it's not a fully fleshed out monetization plan for them, or it is a fully fleshed out monetization platform for them, and they're stealing all of your data and selling it to marketers, which is also probably what's happening. But that's its own discussion for a different day. And I'm of the school of thought that take all of my data. I want the Facebook ads and Twitter ads and all of that to be like actually tailored to what like I want. But I bought like here like that stuff's crazy, bro. Like the analytics, like the cookies,
whole wild thing,
bro.
dude.
I bought a gift for a very special lady in my life. And like I did research on it. And bro, the only YouTube and like Reddit and Instagram ads that I get are now for that line of product.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just wild. I'm like, yeah, no, I already bought it, but I appreciate the advertisement. Like,
No,
you're a little late on that one, but like that's wild.
When my wife and I were searching for wedding bands, I remember just doing a random Google search on this specific silicone ring.
Yeah.
Right. And then I got like 4 brands on Instagram just asking me like, oh, hey, did you look at this brand? It's so wild.
Craziness, bro.
But
I love it. I love it. It's just to me, like, and I'm a marketing student, so I'm like biased on this, but like I love that like the ads aren't like my ads aren't for like mustard. Like I like that they're like
senior home living.
Yeah, it's like that's A, ineffective, B, it's a waste of my freaking time. Like I don't care about that. But like if I'm seeing an ad, like I might buy that gaming chair. That looks like a cool gaming. Like that's the thing is like I want that tailored to me. I don't care who has my data. Like whatever, it's fine. I'm not that interesting.
That's okay. I can see that argument. But so coming back to a close on this whole TikTok topic.
Yes,
TikTok topic. Wow, that's a tongue twister. We're gonna have bonus content seeing who can say that 3 times fast first. So here's the thing though that I think about TikTok that's very interesting is that the discoverability is great. The ability to go viral on TikTok is super easy.
So easy.
I feel like there's a high fallout too.
Yeah, I mean, because so many people,
you're running through so much content.
It's running through so much content, and like it's super easy to go viral. But since it's super easy to go viral for you, it's super easy to go viral for everyone else. So there's always going to be so much stuff coming out, and like that's the thing is like when I was with my ex-girlfriend, I would watch TikToks with her, and it'd be like one person would go viral with one format of video. It'd be like, oh, like me when I do this. And then you see like parts like 1 through 35 and the viewership is plummeting. Like you have like 1, 2, and 3 and people are like, yes, this is funny. But like there's like a lack of depth to that. Like whether that's a lack of depth to the artist, a fear of like this formula worked, I don't want to stray away from it. Where like a medium like YouTube where like you actually like develop a brand around it. or like even a Twitter, like you develop a brand around like a certain way that you tweet and like so on and so forth. It's like it's just a different medium. But like if you're trying to get noticed, you're gonna get noticed on TikTok. Whether what you do with that, like how you drive the traffic that you receive for that TikTok, is completely up to you and where you send that, because like that's gonna be like, it's always gonna be a funnel of people. Like there's gonna be people like, that was like a cool TikTok, but whatever. But like, I don't know, like if I'm suggesting like people trying to be players and getting into esports, developing a brand and who you are is much more important than getting on a team fast, because like a personal brand is significantly more sustainable, because like you're going to be a pro for how many years, like 3 or 4, optimistically, if you're really good. But like building a brand, like you can be trash tier gamer and still chuck out content that people love, you know what I mean? So focusing on that just as much as focusing on like, unless like you're that one, like less than 1%, like that less than 1% that's that good at a game where you can be like a Perks or a Device, a Shazam, or like a Tens. But like if you can be that good, then you can get by on gameplay alone. But like to build a successful brand that carries you into the future, like building that would be like my suggestion. And TikTok's a great way to do that. Twitter's a great way to do that, like that kind of stuff.
I will say it does need to be said though, that if you do want to run a successful business, you do have to make sure that you're using all the right tools and not just the one tool. Because especially with social media, the way that all these different social media platforms are set up, there's certain things that you can do on one platform that you can't do on another.
Oh, absolutely.
For example, in that PR class that I took, they said, listen, it's fine to have Facebook, for updates and stuff. It's fine to have Instagram to show off what you're doing. But the most important thing for a business to have is a Twitter account, because in terms of responsiveness, so say you had, something happen with a company, you can go to Twitter and everybody's going to see it immediately. You can't do that with Instagram. So that's, in my opinion, that's one of the most interesting things about social media, is that you need all of them because they all fit different parts of the puzzle.
Big facts.
That's
marketing 101.
Heck yeah, man. So, I don't know if we did this last time.
Let's find out.
I have interview cards.
So we talked about this last time. I think we did it in part 2, which is now.
I think we did. Yeah, I think we did this crazy one. So let's see here.
Oh, 1 second. It's been a minute since we plugged it. Twitch.tv/LV.
Twitch.tv/LV all the time, 100%.
Okay, go on. Sorry. It's been a minute. We have to hit a certain quota, otherwise I get fired.
Right, yeah. So, in terms of longevity, what game do you think is going to always dominate the esports market?
League of Legends or CSGO.
Why?
They have built up a loyal following. They have perfected the recipe of what their game is. Like if you want a true first person shooter experience that's like the highest skill cap, like the best players, CSGO. Okay. And they have oh my god, like the more I think, Valorant has a chance to be basically, that's because like Dota is a better like MMORPG, or not MMORPG. Blah 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 blah. What is the genre of game that it is
for League?
What is the League genre? It's not. Oh God,
I'm gonna find out because I don't remember either.
It's an acronym.
No, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Trackpad is gonna hate me for this. Like FPS,
Online Battle Arena.
Is that really what it's called?
I think so.
Regardless, not the point. Not the point. League of Legends is not a better online battle arena than Dota, but it's MOBA
game. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Multiplayer online battle arena game.
Yes, MOBA, not MMORPG, not World of Warcraft. What Riot does better than anyone else is taking the parts that people like out of certain games, making it a little bit more accessible, and then marketing the hell out of it. So Valorant has a chance to overcome CSGO, but like League of Legends just has such a loyal fan base, and they've done franchising right, and do their production right, and have just an army of followers that aren't going to go anywhere. Like you can't enter that field. And it's like the developer backing behind it, which is very similar, which is like a true esports focus, which Valve doesn't have for Dota or CS. While they may be better games, the dev team behind it and the marketing behind it and like the purpose of it is for esports, which is where Valorant is headed, which is why Valorant is doing like remarkably well for how young of a game that they are in the competitive scene, even though, in my opinion, CS is a better game. So I think probably Valorant, League, and then like Counter-Strike, because like Die Hard, like there's no community more loyal to an esports scene than the CS like scene.
Really?
Because dude, there's like, because Valve doesn't care. Valve doesn't give one shit about the esports scene. Like they don't, like they kind of care, but like, bro, they don't care. Not the way that Riot cares.
That's true. Riot
cares.
That was something that was so interesting to me. So I play a lot of teamfight tactics. I'm not good at League at all, but I'm kind of decent at TFT. I like to think, right? So I remember one of the daily whatever those are, the daily tasks, the missions, challenges, like, yeah, whatever you call them.
The thing you do to level up a battle pass.
Yeah, one of the challenges was to watch an esports game on the Riot site. Yeah. And you go to that site and it's massive. Granted, it's run through Twitch, like all of it's mostly broadcasted on Twitch, but they have it integrated into their own website. And that's wild to me. The fact that they're willing to go through and make a whole thing just for League of Legends esports. That shows me how dedicated they are into making their esports scene viable.
Oh no, it's they're insane. Like Riot is really good at that. Riot's bad at some things, but you can never say like the developers aren't in tune with like the competitive side of things. And like that's why that esports scene is so sustainable and massive as it is today. And like Valorant has that kind of tracking and backing of like, okay, like they can do this with League, they can probably do this with like, because like the first person shooter industry is like synonymous with esports. It's one of the most easy to digest, and they've like taken the things that like brands are afraid of in CSGO, like the word terrorist and AK-47, and subbed it out for attacker defender. Not a bomb, it's a spike.
Oh yeah.
An AK-47, it's a vandal. Like it's not a desert eagle, it's a sheriff. And like,
oh, I'd never even thought about that. That's interesting. Yeah.
While that isn't like, while like the hardcore CSGO fans are like, this is a knockoff, and they're right. It is 100%. They have done it so that a way that a brand like Coca-Cola is not going to be like, Coca-Cola, you're official sponsor of the Navi terrorist side. Like, but like they're like proud sponsor of Fnatic Valorant. Like that's not spooky words.
Right.
And it's still a shooter. It's still gunplay. So there's still going to be people who are like, I'm staying away from anything involving gun, but it's much more palatable.
Welcome to modern marketing and public relations, everybody.
Yeah.
Oh man. I don't know. Is there anything else that you feel like needs to be spoken about in this particular genre that you have forced yourself into, basically? Because that's kind of what you did. You kind of forced your way into Aquatik.
I did. I just nagged my way until they're like, we'll give him a bigger paycheck.
Like, fine.
Tell him to shut up. No, I think that pretty well summarizes anything that you know that I could say on the current subject matters at hand. I don't really have anything else to say.
I mean, do you think you're gonna get shown on NBC anytime soon?
No, I doubt it. I think it'll stay. I think it'll be primarily Twitch, and then transition into Control, which is going to be the next big thing. I'm a believer.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. From what I've seen, Control looks sick.
It does. It's gonna face. It's an uphill battle. it'll face the mixer issue, but like I think developing a loyal fan base and like slowly building it is going to be the wave. Mm-hmm. And that is the best way for sustainable growth, especially in the field, instead of trying to go fast success and just throw money at a problem. Which is where Mixer went wrong.
So hold on. I genuinely have no idea. I kind of want to, you know what? Let's do that real quick, just to see how many people might be interested on Control just from the launch, from what I can see within Aquatik itself. Let's do a little checky check.
What are you looking into? I love analytics.
I'm gonna see. So okay, first off, Aquatik Esports. is kind of popular right now from what I see.
What are you looking at?
I'm looking at your Discord invite.
Wait, what now?
Let me see if I can find it. So the Discord invite for any Discord server, right? When you
Mm-hmm.
click into it, it shows you how many people are active and how many people are in the server, right? That's what I'm looking for. Ah, dang. Crap. I'm going to have to go on mobile. I was kind of hoping that would work. So, okay, because here's the thing. With as much as you guys have been talking about control and talking about the things that you do, viewership and that, that loyal fan base that you're talking about, that's a big deal for a
It
company.
is.
So let me see here. As seen on NBC, CSI, Esports Insider, The Org, Fox, Aquatik Esports. Okay, hold on. Okay, here we go. So online right now, you have 5,790 people. In total, 33,471 members.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty high. Good
On the
for us.
Discord. So of those people, how many people do you think are actually going to move towards control?
I don't know. I truly don't know, and I don't want to hazard. I don't want to hazard a guess and put myself on the record on that one. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna stay away from that.
I mean, that's fair. That's probably a wise decision. Here's what I think. I think if you guys, okay, hold on. Let's do some actual math here real quick. So you have basically, what did I say? 33 and a half?
Yeah, 33.
Yeah, 33 and a half. Let's just go that, right? If you can get, even if you can get a 5% usage, right? From what you currently have in Aquatik, if you can even get 5% of people in that Discord server using control, that's more than 1,500 people.
1675. I broke out my calculator too.
Yeah, see? So even if it's that, I mean, starting out for a company or for like a brand new product, that's not bad. That's not bad at all.
No, the question is going to come from like how patient will investors and upper management be on the growth of it, not whether or not like it'll start fine. You know what I mean? Like there's just so many other factors of like, okay, how much money are we dumping into this to see this number? And do we think the potential, like the forecasting, like how quickly are people adopting it after that like initial wave? Like, is it like, what's the growth rate? And that's like above my pay grade.
Right.
Like,
No, absolutely. It's above both of ours. I just run a podcast.
I just organize games, man.
I don't know, but this is what's so interesting to me. This is why I think I took those communications classes, just because there's so much that goes into a company that just a lot of people don't realize, especially with making a successful company.
Oh, I mean, it's
or even like a successful product.
Yeah, it's, I mean, research and development, funding, interpretation of analytics, correct interpretation of analytics, applied marketing. Where are you marketing? Who are you marketing to? Why are you marketing to them?
Production.
How do they want to see it? There's layers and layers to it. And it's like,
especially with like esports and online media, you have a lot of engineers too, like software engineers, server engineers, just making sure that everything's running all the time. And if a bug comes up, who's going to fix it?
There's just so much freaking depth, man.
But I genuinely am. I'm genuinely excited for
control.
It's going to be super looks sick. Really, really cool.
It has an immense potential.
Oh, so excited. I don't know. But again, it's just all up to the viewership, because that's the main problem with being on the internet, is that the rate of success is based upon how much people like you.
Yeah, 100%.
So, I mean, but I guess you could say that for anything, but it's like, especially with Twitch streamers and with people who make
it's an
entertainment like that.
It's a personalized entertainment product. Like that's the thing that Twitch does super well, is like, it's not like a whole show in production where you're like, I love that character.
Yeah.
Like it's just that person. And if you like that person, you're going to enjoy their content. If you don't like that person, you're not going to enjoy that content. So it's like a much more personal level, and why like those communities are so tight knit. And I will say, like, that's the thing with this is going to sound like an ad, but it's not. That's the thing that LV does so flippin' well, is like she has such a developed, like, good relationship with her community that it really doesn't matter what she does on stream. And she's fantastic on stream. She's a fantastic performer, a fantastic musician. Mm-hmm. But that's almost beside the point, because of how she's presented herself. Like the people that are there for her authentic self. And like that's the difference between that and like watching a sitcom where you're like, you don't care how the actor is unless he's like says something really racist, and then you're like, I'm probably not going to watch that. But like that's not, it's not built off of a personal brand, it's built off of like a story arc, whereas like Twitch is such a personal medium of communication and medium of entertainment, where if they don't like you, it doesn't matter if you like have the best produced show on Twitch. I freaking hate that guy, I'm not going to watch that.
Yeah. I don't know. This is all so interesting to me. And that's why because I mean, it's like my business hinges on people liking me or not.
Oh, absolutely.
So, it's the same with Twitch streamers. It's largely, it used to be that way with YouTubers too. If people liked you, that's how you made money, was people being like, oh, I'm going to watch this. I'm going to like it. I'm going to subscribe. I'm going to do all this.
Like,
so
I love this guy's
get
content.
That recognition. Yeah. But that being said, this will be the last point that I say. Genuinely, as much as I wish I could make so much money off of this, I know I probably won't, right? I know I probably won't. That being said, and this is widely true, people who can't buy your product, people who can't donate to you, people who can't monetarily
directly support you.
Yeah, directly support. Even if you're just sharing the media, that getting the word out is largely helpful.
Like those are the numbers that you take to like company XYZ and like, hey, will you sponsor this podcast? You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That genuinely helps so much. Or like you like that's the thing where it's like, it doesn't matter if you like donate or like subscribe. Like if you come into my Twitch channel and you're just hanging out there, not only does it make it so much more enjoyable for me to like interact with you in Twitch chat, that boosts my numbers so that if I go to a sponsor and be like, hey, do you want to sponsor my Twitch channel? Like they come to me and they're like, hey, we want to sponsor you. Like, can we see some analytics? Like that helps. Like
absolutely. 100%.
That helps so 100%. Much.
Yeah.
Like I'm not even saying that as like a nice guy of like, you don't got to have money to come over. Like, no, trust me. This like from a business perspective, like this helps.
Like legitimately. I think that's
me.
something that people don't understand is that if you can't support them monetarily, then you're not helping them at all. I think that's a misconception that people need to get out of their head right now.
It's like, trust me, like you're $5, like even if it is like a Twitch sub, not to say it doesn't matter if you like, if I get affiliate and I get a Twitch sub, like that doesn't directly help me. Like odds are like your $5 investment into a sub is not going to help me nearly as much as like you sharing this and getting other people in here. So I can talk to a company and be like, yeah, sponsor me. They're going to give me more money than you. Like just straight up. I would rather have you in there because you genuinely want to be here and hang out than like, oh, I'm going to get gate kept because I can't spend $5 a month. Like, f your $5. And excuse my French, but like,
no, yeah.
Like I don't care about that. That's not the money that I want to make. That's going to not buy me. Like, that's not going to get me a mortgage.
Like, genuinely, I would prefer somebody sharing it and putting like, hey, this is really interesting. Never thought about it this way. I would much rather prefer that on a Facebook post than a $10 donation.
For sure. 100%. Easily. Like, building a brand. And like, don't get me wrong, I love your $10 donation. I am super grateful that you think my content is worth freaking $2. I don't care. Like, that's awesome. That's super helpful for me mentally. But like from a purely business perspective, like I would rather have you do organic marketing for me.
Yeah. That's absolutely. So that's the takeaway. That's the final takeaway. Just support them no matter, even if you just retweet and like it.
Yeah.
Those are analytics that we can use.
But yeah.
And not just us, every content creator online. So, man. Bobby. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much.
Oh, absolutely. It's been a pleasure, as always.
I love doing this, dude.
It's a good time.
So all the stuff that you want to plug is in this section now. So I would do that.
So if you've made it this far, twitter.com/commiewolverine, twitch.tv/commiewolverine, twitch.tv/LV. ELVIE.
ELVIE. That's
that's crucial. Yeah. That's crucial. Commie Wolverine spelled exactly how it sounded. COMMIEWOLVERINE. I had to think about how to spell. I've typed it so many times and I just never consciously.
That's all it is. X-Men.
Yeah, X-Men.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, so if you could follow me on there and retweet my tweets and hang out in my chat and make me feel not so alone in this world, that would be pretty cool.
That'd be pretty PogChamp.
I was gonna say poggers, bro. I had to stop myself.
Also, and Aquatik Esports. Go check out
Yeah.
Aquatik Esports, man.
Yeah.
There's super interesting stuff happening.
We're cool.
Yeah. Anyway, everybody out there listening, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for listening to this wonderful man and I just ramble for an hour and a half, basically. And just always remember, guys, just get some sunlight, get some water, because you're basically a freaking houseplant with complicated human emotions. That's it. Just remember that. Anyway, we'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Bye.